Ryan, we're happy to have you. I was just telling Bump, pitching has kind of been an issue for this team, obviously, but I can't really turn to them in this series and say, what can you do? Because it's like, just make it through. I don't know, survive, like figure it out. Instead, you kind of are forced to look at offense. So I'll send you the same question with, when you're looking at this offense, is there someone in particular you're looking to go, I need more consistency from you?
Well, position-wise, I think you guys were doing a little bit on the position-wise. I think, first base, losing Luke Raley, that was a big one because I feel like he was starting to get in a bit of a rhythm. I just think with, Rowdy Tellez, it's been a little bit of a bright spot early on, but only in little glimpses of that. So I will throw it towards first base. However, one guy that I'm a little concerned about right now is Ben Williamson. He, to me, looks lost at the plate. And I was maybe anticipating he was going to get pinch hit for in that last inning. But right now, he's feeling it. It's one of those situations as a rookie where you get comfortable. You're in the honeymoon phase where everything's all good. You get to the big leagues and everything that goes with it, and families coming to that road trip or whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden the league adjusts to you because you're having some success. Now it's his time to adjust to them. So we're seeing a little bit of that and seeing him get a little bit overwhelmed at times. So I know he's super talented, but if he's going to be the guy playing every day at third base, regardless of how much big league time he's got, you do want to see some more consistency out of Ben Williamson, that's for sure.
You were telling me how you can tell when a pitcher is just in the zone and you're feeling it, the body language or whatnot. Yeah. I felt like we saw some of that from Castillo last night. What did you see out of him, and how was he able to kind of find his groove?
Yeah, and we had a great chat about it, and I hear you, and it was good. It gave me some optimism for this rotation because that's been the weak spot in this team. Now with Luis Castillo, him and Bryce Miller, I sort of put him in the same bucket, if you will, in regards to feeling a little bit mentally. That's for sure early on in the year. Now with Luis Castillo, if you watched the game yesterday, you noticed the first couple innings. First of all, pitch usage. He's going to what I called, and I said this to you yesterday, and you were nodding your head. Hopefully it made sense. But that safety net pitch is that slider of his. It's like this pitch that, all right, my fastball, I might not feel 100% about it, and that's a challenge pitch, that fastball, middle of the plate and up. So what I'm going to do instead, because I'm not quite feeling it, I'm going to go to that slider because I can get some weak contact. I can change speeds on you a little bit with that pitch. And he was going slider heavy. And then all of a sudden, in the third inning, and I love this, man. It's amazing what happens when you can turn that corner. He blows the doors off Aaron Judge, who, by the way, was just getting eaten alive by some of the sliders when they were keeping him at bay. And then he goes fastball, middle of the plate, and we talked about this, Bump, right? That little recoil when he throws it and bounces off the mound. He's got that recoil in his arm. Saw it from Gabe Spire that first night the second night against the Yankees too. And I'm looking like, oh, here it is. And then Cody Bellinger comes up. And by the way, Cody Bellinger has handled 95, 96, middle and up in part of the strike zone with ease this year, if you look at his numbers. And there's Castillo, just wham, a heater at the top of the strike zone. Bang, do it again, 96. And you can just see that the non-verbals in between the pitches from him saying, oh, there it is. Okay, that's when baseball becomes fun. That's when pitching becomes fun. So you saw that from Luis Castillo. And then from the fourth inning, fifth inning onwards, he just kept making pitches, man. It was awesome to see. So I'm not saying, oh, hey, it's that one pitch and all of a sudden you walk away and say, hey, I'm good. But I think for Luis Castillo, because he always has that demeanor about him that he's always in control. You know how like when Kobe would get, he'd foul or look at the ref and all of a sudden he's got that smirk on his face? It's like, bro, you're about to get fouled out. Like, what are you doing? And he has that smirk. Derek Jeter had the same thing. Well, Castillo has the same thing. Woody will walk out to the mound, runner on second, and he's just got this smirk on his face like, hey, I'm all good. And it's just like, man, I never had that. And he has that. He hasn't had that recently, but he started to show a little bit of that. And it's not so much in the zone, it's just flat out, look, I've got three pitchers that are going to beat you, and that's when Luis Castillo is at his best, because that's what he has. He does have that. So it was good to see yesterday.
I want to get back to Ben Williamson, just a really quick follow-up. You said that he looks lost. I think you're right. It's obvious. You can see it from the numbers, and it's also not uncommon at all for rookies, something else that you mentioned. You said that the league adjusts to you. How have you seen the league adjust to Ben, and how do you think he needs to adjust back?
Yeah, I think, first of all, and the reason I sound like I'm being harsh to Ben Williamson.
Not at all.
No, because look, he's a stud, man. I love the way he hits. He's going to be really, really good. Like, he is going to put up ridiculous numbers in the big leagues. What I mean by that is this, right? So, and he's been pretty vocal about it. And it's a situation when you're a rookie and you come up and you have success right away. And he did, man. He was just handling plus pitches. And the approach was anything, hard. He told me this straight up. Anything that's hard, like, any fastball, whether it's still middle in, middle away, he shoots that ball to right field, right center field, right? And then what he tries to do is pick his spots. When he sees that breaking ball spinning out in front of him, he just lights up, and that's when he tries to pull a baseball. And so what happens is now if he wasn't having success or 96 up in the zone and getting doors blown off, it's going to take 60 plate appearances before someone adjusts you. However, when you're having success, you're in the lineup every day and you're making an impact, what happens is the league starts to go, we have to pay more attention to this guy because he's good. He's really good. And so what happens is they start building that book way faster and putting their more resources and their time consumption into building an attack plan against a guy like Ben Williamson. So what I've noticed, he's getting pitched down and in way more, and the breaking balls are way higher quality early in the count. He's showing a little bit more aggression early in the count. He's showing that he'll commit to a breaking pitch, which is going to be down below the strike zone. And so then what happens in turn with that, it's like, all right, Ben, don't change your approach, but change guessing right. In other words, the best hitters in the game, and this goes back to Manny Ramirez and Jose Ramirez, right? With the Cleveland Guardians. I'm trying to use different examples here from different generations. They go up to the plate saying, all right, when you get me at a 1-1 count, there's a very high chance I'm going to get this pitch. Now, if I see it in a certain spot, like a spinning breaking ball, I'm going to see it in up and away because that's how you like to shape that pitch, and I'm going to get after it. Now, if I see that same pitch because you're going to try and attack me with that pitch, but it's down a little bit, I'm going to have the ability and the discipline to lay off, right? And that's obviously really simple. So I think Ben right now he's been a little aggressive early. They're starting to pitch him a little harder inside, and then also spin and breaking balls below the strike zone, whereas a couple of weeks ago he was getting balls spun in the strike zone. So look, he's going to be totally fine, man. And I just think that at the moment, he's just getting a little bit more exposed early on in counts. But I love the way he hits. Don't change. I love the way he plays defense. He's going to be here a long time, and I'm looking forward to watching him adjust.
Ryan, these guys have won one out of their last 6 games, right? And the series with Toronto, I chalked it up. Look, that's going to happen. There's no way they're going to keep winning series after series after series. This series with the Yankees, I looked at it and said, all right, you got caught the first game, and, they had an explosive, 5th or 6th inning. And then the last 2 games, you were in the mix. I don't feel bad about the squad right now. I feel like they're going to be fine. Obviously, we have concerns about the pitching or whatnot, but when you look at these last 2 series, I mean, we got people on the text lines who are losing their mind right now. Like, where do you stand with this squad after, winning 1 out of the last 6?
Well, in amongst that series, Bryce Miller hit the IL, and that was really concerning, right? The fact that he said he's dealing with some elbow stuff, which is concerning because he's taken a step back here in the early stages. Team, in my opinion, when it's all said and done, when we're talking 3 months from now, it has to be the foundational piece. Has to be the pitching, and the reason I say that is because you mentioned that Blue Jays sweep. They ran into late in games, and I'll run some numbers by you in just a second, but late in games, they ran into some guys who can make you swing and miss, and that got exposed a little bit late in games. So that was a little concerning. Now, I've said to you guys, I think I said this last week, you don't need that offense to be a top 5, but you do need that pitching to be above average. Right now, the starting rotation with all the injuries and everything, I'm saying performance-wise it's below average. However, the outlook right now is going to be well above average with George Kirby coming back soon, Logan Gilbert hopefully coming back. I obviously can't promise you anything, and not that I know anything that you guys don't know. And then Bryce Miller. But the offense, just some numbers that were a little concerning over the last 6 games. They had, obviously the swing and miss went up, the on base went down, the walks weren't there, home runs. But the thing that you noticed, they smashed teams early. They hit starting pitching really well. But more so recently, when you look at the strikeout percentage and you look at the on-base, batting average, contact percentage from the 7th inning onwards, it just plummeted. After that Athletics series, it went from, the strikeout rate went from, they were around 20% 7th inning onwards, which is insane. It's really good. Remember, you're going to have tougher swing and miss guys later on in the games. That went up to over 30%. Then you have the on-base percentage, guys at the bottom of the lineup who just wore you out. Rivas, Ben Williamson as well. That on-base percentage went from a good 350 7th inning onwards to 250, 240. The contact inside the strike zone. I mean, I can rattle off numbers all day. And so to me, I was looking at that saying, okay, this is a good offense that can handle plus pitching late in games. But they ran into the Blue Jays. They ran into the back end of a Blue Jays bullpen, and they ran into some really tough swing and miss with the Yankees. So they got a little exposed there, which is a little bit concerning. But look, if the offense can carry this team just long enough, and doesn't have to be that long, you get a Kirby back, man, I can't. I'll be so happy to see him back in this rotation. I can't tell you. Then you get a Logan Gilbert back. Then you hopefully get a Bryce Miller with a clean slate, mentally, physically. The pitching will carry this team.
I don't know if I have enough time for a follow-up. So if this is
I'll be quick. I know I ramble.
If it's too much, well, no, it's a little bit of a follow-up on that.
Yeah.
Is it just the quality of some of the bullpen arms that they ran into, or is it that they were overperforming your own expectations in that kind of performance from the 7th onward?
I think if you look back, well, a couple things, and they did it to themselves, that if you stay close in a game, you're going to run into a really hard back end of the bullpen, and they had some close games, right? Yankees and then Blue Jays. Blue Jays are top of the charts in when you're talking swing and miss. The Athletics, they had close games, but those guys, they didn't have the swing and miss or the bullpen caliber to overmatch you.
Okay.
And so that was a little bit more of that. And look, they're going to run into tough bullpens. Don't get me wrong. Sure. Right? They're going to run into tough bullpens. But a good offensive team, they smash you by 6 to 7 runs. They don't play close games. And number 2, they handle that plus pitching late in games.
He is Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
No worries. Thanks, guys.